again, Sean here. Hey, we have talked about lots of different things with learning. A couple of videos ago, I shared my thoughts around modes of learning, and I really focused on the point that as we head into this remote learning side of things, the delivery of education is going to be through a digital platform or a virtual platform. And I mentioned at the time, the encouragement is just because it's delivered on a digital platform, don't do all the learning on a digital platform, but look for other modes of learning, such as the oral mode of learning and the physical mode of learning, which really emphasizes the difference that technology can be used to capture learning rather than be the one place that all the learning happens. So that being said, if you are going to use technology to do the learning, I thought I'd put together a quick video just to show a few important aspects of that. So if you're going to be designing learning, there's a few C words that are really important. They just happen to all be C words. The first one is content consumption. So when you consider a student sitting at a device, you want to use the device in a way for them to consume new information. And my encouragement as you look at designing that learning for them is to consider yourself as a really important curator of information rather than the creator of all the information. And it really points to the fact that there is such good material already online. You don't need to design and sit down and record yourself doing exactly what I'm doing all the time for every concept. Of course, there are some niche markets, and you might want to deliver your own specific worldview around physics through some of your own videos, but have a look online and see what information is sitting there. But in saying that, if you're going to create information, or if you're going to have information for the students to consume on a device, think about different modes as well. So again, not just watch this video and then this video and then this video. There might be some audio tasks, there might be some text type tasks that the students read, there might be some information that they manipulate as well through sort of animations on devices as well. So have that in mind when you're looking at curating information. It's a really important task just to get the right information to the students rather than just saying go ahead and Google for a whole lot of different stuff. So content consumption from the student's perspective as a teacher on the other end of their planning, being intentional to make sure they get the right information in different modes to allow them to engage in the new information in different spaces and in different ways. The second C is, or the second two C's, I guess, is content creation. When you think about the students using the device to create things, they're doing that because you want them to show you what they understand. It might be some practice type activities, but ultimately students create things to show to a wider audience what it is that they understand about new concepts. So think and be creative about it. Don't just have the students again typing information back to you to say I can do this, or taking like a worksheet that you might have done in the classroom that would be done in the classroom, photocopy it or take a photograph of it and send it to the students to say fill this in so that I can understand your knowledge, I guess, of what this new concept is. Be creative. Something that was powerful in the classroom isn't necessarily going to be powerful in a home environment. So ask the students to create a video explaining a concept, which again, if you think through the likes of Bloom's taxonomies, shows a much deeper level of understanding. If they can compare something, or if they can explain something to a younger generation or a younger group of people than themselves. So content creation from a student's perspective on the end is a teacher sitting intentionally designing activities that enables a student to show their understanding in a creative way rather than just unpacking things through text. The third C is communication. So you use the tool very much in a way that, especially in this time where a lot of people are going into remote learning because of COVID-19, that students can communicate in an authentic way with you as the teacher, from you as the teacher, or communicating two ways back to the students, and also for the students to continue to build relationships with their peers within the classroom. So how do you monitor that? How do you engage the students in that? It could be done through text-based things, it could be oral, it could be video conferencing and what have you. So use the tool. If you're going to use the tool, the digital devices, use it again intentionally with the aspect of communication in mind. Now take it a next step, rather than just being communicating with you and the environment that they're used to. How about build tasks like communicating with an author in another country with a favorite book that you enjoy as a class? Maybe connecting in with them and finding out, why did they come up with the plot, what was important to them about that specific genre, how do they decide on which characters to leave in the story and which ones not to leave in, and they thought about a sequel. So communication is a really powerful way to use technology nowadays that enables us to do things that we weren't able to do in the past. I mean, we could have done it through mail, but it would have been a much slower process. So you've got content consumption where the students are using the device to consume information. You've got content creation where the students are using the device to show their understanding, communication for that authentic, connecting with other people that you could have done much slower in the past, but now we can do it more sort of authentically and real time. And the fourth one that I was going to concentrate on is concept reinforcement. There's a whole lot of stuff that you can do on computers nowadays, or iPads, whatever it is that you use in your school, to reinforce concepts that are done much more effectively and engage the students a lot more in learning than giving them a worksheet with 100 basic facts equations on it and saying complete this and send it back to me so that I can mark it sometime when I get to when I have spare time to mark 25 different worksheets with 100 equations on it, and I'll give you feedback on it using math tools that are online that the students get instant feedback from. So even language, English, learning a new language, I guess it is, using physics and using obscure things like bridge constructor that you get to use different materials to work out what works well, and different weight-bearing tools, weight-bearing materials that you can build a bridge from, and there's a task that's engaging these next levels, and students have this learning wrapped up in a way that they don't really know they're learning, feel like they're playing games, but they're actually, the teachers intentionally use those tools to engage students in learning that they don't know they're doing, which is the best type of learning, I think, really good. And of course, content consumption, content creation, communication, concept reinforcement, and then nowadays the coding. And there's some really cool apps in there that help people to think logically through what coding might be and building an understanding of coding. So just to reiterate, right at the beginning, I said, one of the first videos was the fact that when we go into this remote learning side of things, where students are learning from home, not inside the classroom, we are very much moving into a place where the learning is delivered through technology. My encouragement is to find many different ways for students to engage in learning. Where possible, use the technology to capture the learning rather than to be the learning. But for those moments that it is the learning and they are doing the learning on the technology, my encouragement is just to be really intentional on finding ways students can consume information in meaningful ways and in good ways, that they can create information and create content that shows their understanding of concepts in a really powerful way and engaging way for them, how they can communicate authentically, and then how they can reinforce concepts or concept reinforcement through technology in a meaningful way, and of course coding. Look, a really cool time that we're in this world that we live in right now as far as education goes. Be well, and I wish you all the best till the next video. See ya.